Incredible, millionaire discovers black cleaner studying in the dark, changes her life forever. Maya scrubbed furiously at the floor of the lavish downtown office building, her muscles aching, sweat trickling down her brow. The clock ticked past midnight, but she was fueled by dreams bigger than her exhaustion. Around her, the office was eerily quiet, the glow of the city lights seeping through the windows illuminating a well-worn path of hardship she traveled. Every swipe of her mop echoed her mother's sacrifices, the sacrifices that had brought Maya to this moment. She thought about law school, about fighting for justice, and the thought brought a spark to her eye. The flickering light from a solitary desk lamp in her tiny apartment felt like the beacon guiding her way. It was there she read those discarded textbooks she salvaged from the trash and polished her arguments on tattered pages. Maya clutched those dreams, hoping they could pull her out of her current life. Then, amidst the hum of the vacuum, a voice broke her concentration. "You've been working late," he said, a mixture of curiosity and concern in his tone. She looked up to see Blake, the millionaire real estate mogul, leaning casually against the doorframe, his sharp suit contrasting starkly with her faded work uniform. Her heart raced. This wasn't just anyone, this was a man who occupied a world entirely different from hers. "Just trying to pick up a few things," she replied, her voice a blend of confidence and disbelief. Blake stepped closer, intrigued by the determination in her eyes, and struck up a conversation that began to peel back layers of their contrasting lives. Maya spoke of her dreams with fierce passion, and he listened intently, sharing anecdotes of his own upbringing, steeped in his mother's resilience. They forged a connection that felt unusual yet refreshing, yet, as they talked, his privilege loomed over their conversation, a stark reminder of the chasm between them. The laughter of his friends echoed in his mind, urging him to choose the safe, familiar paths of his social class. Could he even entertain the thought of crossing into Maya's world? Just as Maya began to see hope on the horizon, her phone buzzed news from home. A sudden family crisis was tugging at her, demanding her attention, pulling her away from her aspirations. Anxiety twisted in her stomach. Should she abandon her dreams to support her family, or fight to carve out a future for herself? "Hey, listen," Blake hesitated, the weight of realization sinking in. He felt the unequal burden of societal demands and questioned his responsibility to reach out to someone like her. Together, they both navigated the discomfort of their differences, grappling with their realities. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. The pressure mounted. Maya's determination to change her life grew with every passing moment, but the clock was ticking. An upcoming event lauded those who overcame odds just like hers, forcing her to confront the reality of privilege versus perseverance. Standing at that precipice, she felt her heart pounding. Doubt clashed with hope. Would Blake muster the courage to see past the barriers that divided them? Could Maya stand strong against the doubts threatening to drown her? Just when they were beginning to dream together, a bombshell revelation threatened to shake the very foundations of their fragile bond. What lay ahead would test not just their aspirations, but their very understanding of each other's worlds. Maya stared at Blake, her heart racing as his expression shifted. The comfortable barrier they had slowly built was cracked open by the weight of silence. It hung between them, thick with unspoken words. Taking a deep breath, Blake broke the stillness. "Maya, there's something you should know." His voice trailed off, uncertainty flooding his face. Her instincts kicked in, a familiar feeling of dread creeping up her spine. "What is it?" she asked, her stomach tightening. She already knew that the world they belonged to came with baggage, but she didn't anticipate whatever he was about to say could change everything. I learned that there's a fundraiser next week," he said, averting his gaze. "My company is sponsoring it." It's supposed to spotlight stories of resilience. I suggested you as one of the honorees. Maya's breath caught in her throat. She felt simultaneously honored and afraid. Me? Why would you do that? Blake looked up, vulnerability shimmering in his blue eyes. Because your story matters. It resonates more than any of the ones I've heard in that corporate space, he admitted, his tone honest, stripped of pretense. But what about the disparity? What about how I'm just a cleaner? Maya felt the words tumble out in an almost panicked rush. No, it's more than that. You've turned adversity into ambition. You've stayed under the radar but have an extraordinary journey. He stepped closer, his presence warming the air around her. I think it's time for people to hear your voice. Yet excitement collided with fear in her heart. What if she betrayed her family by stepping onto such a public stage? What if they didn't understand her ambition? Maya took a step back, her mind racing. It's too much pressure. I can't just put myself out there like that. What will people think? People will see the strength it took for you to rise from the challenges you faced, Blake said softly. But ultimately, the decision is yours. I just wanted you to know. An aching silence enveloped them again. Maya's thoughts spiraled, caught between her desire to elevate her dreams and the gravity of her family's crisis. And while Blake was offering her a lifeline, could she pull her family along with her? I appreciate it, I really do, she said finally, her voice shaking almost imperceptibly. But right now, I need to focus on my family. You can do both, he encouraged, his eyes steady. Financial support, scholarship opportunities, you can advocate for them while also fighting for your own future. A flicker of hope ignited within her, his encouragement felt like a balm to her weary soul, a reminder that she could pursue both family and dreams. But what if she failed? Before she could spiral deeper into doubt, Blake continued. I'll be here to support you, whatever you choose. Just remember, your story is powerful. Maya nodded, uncertain but grateful. As she watched him leave, she felt the weight of his words lingering in the air. In the days that followed, Maya spent sleepless nights weighing her options. Each task she completed as she moved among the shadows of her night job became an echo of her hopes and fears. Should she take the stage? Will that moment define her? Then, another wave of uncertainty jolted her, a message from home struck like thunder. Her mother had fallen ill, and the burden of care heavy on her heart. It felt like every dream was slipping from her grasp, and as she faced the harsh reality, the thought of Blake's support began to feel like a distant memory. On an evening cloaked in uncertainty, Maya sat alone in her apartment, the city's lights twinkling like stars outside. She had a choice to make, and it felt monumental. As she stared at her books, scattered on the floor, she knew what was at stake. What if taking that leap meant balancing everything she loved? Could she really change her life, or would she fall short once again? With a heart full of questions, Maya began drafting a letter, an invitation to speak at the fundraiser, her thoughts spilling over the page. But the deeper she went, the more she realized this wasn't just an opportunity, it was a defining moment. As she sealed the envelope, a surge of fear mixed with excitement consumed her. Little did she know, this was merely the beginning of a journey that would lead her to face truths she had buried deep within. Could she rise above the fear and step into the light? Or would the struggles of her family keep her shackled forever? The answers lingered just out of reach, waiting for her to find the courage to uncover them. The days blurred together as Maya grappled with the weight of her choices. Each night, she balanced her job and her mother's care, trying to find moments of clarity in the chaos. Blake's words echoed in her mind, a constant reminder of the potential she held not just for herself, but for her family. One night, after completing a long shift, she returned home exhausted. The apartment felt colder without her mother's warm smile and voice filling the space. She poured herself a cup of lukewarm coffee and sank into the couch, the silence pressing against her like an unwanted weight. with trembling hands, she glanced at the envelope she had sealed days before. It lay on the table, a silent challenge staring back at her. What if this was her chance? But it was complicated. Her mother's health was worsening, and her siblings looked to her more than ever. The thought of leaving them behind felt like betrayal. Just as despair began to creep in, her phone buzzed, breaking the heavy silence. It was a text from Blake, "Thinking of you, Maya. Hope you're hanging in there." A smile tugged at her lips. His support, even from a distance, felt like a lifeline. She typed back quickly, "Thank you. Just trying to keep everything together." The reply came almost instantly. "Let me help. Can I bring you dinner tomorrow? Maybe we can talk more." Maya's heart raced. It was tempting to have him there, to share her struggles and perhaps seek advice. But she knew that his world was so vastly different from hers. Would he understand the complexities weighing her down? Before she could reply, her mother's cough echoed from the other room, breaking her moment of contemplation. Panic rose instantly. She rushed to her mother's room, finding her sitting up, a hand pressed against her chest, looking frail and vulnerable. "Mama, you need to rest," Maya urged, her voice thick with concern. "I can't sleep, Mija. Too much on my mind," her mother replied, her voice hoarse. "Is everything okay with you?" Maya forced a smile, but inside, her heart was breaking. "I'm fine. Just tired from work," she lied, creeping closer to sit by her mother's side. Her mother reached out, brushing Maya's hair back gently. "You're carrying too much, you know. I see it in your eyes." Maya's walls began to crumble. "I don't want to let you down, or the family. There's this opportunity, but it feels so big. What if I can't do it?" Laying her head against her mother's shoulder, she ached for reassurance. "Opportunities are meant for those brave enough to take them, Mija. Like I always say, no one can take your voice away from you. Just remember, your path shouldn't come at a cost to your heart." With her mother's words resonating within her, a flicker of determination ignited in Maya's gut. It was time to step up. But that night, the decision was already looming, a vague shadow she still couldn't fully grasp. Could she balance caring for her family while pursuing her own dreams? Could she honor her mother's spirit while seeking her own resilience? The struggle felt heavier, yet the thrill of potential shimmered in the background. As she lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, she couldn't shake the feeling that change was coming. The next morning, she picked up her phone, heart pounding, and typed a response to Blake, "Dinner sounds great. I really need to talk." Maybe this was her chance to embrace the ambiguity of her life. Maybe it could lead her down a path she had been afraid to tread. Would Blake have the answers she sought? Or would his perspective only complicate her already tangled emotions? As excitement danced in her chest, she realized there was so much to be discovered. The gravity of her decision loomed before her. Would she finally find the courage to chase a different future? What awaited her on this journey of self-discovery? As she faced the unknown, one thing was for sure, Maya was ready to begin unraveling the potential within herself. Maya's heart raced as she prepared for dinner with Blake. The day felt eternal, filled with fleeting moments of anticipation. She focused on her mother, helping her with meals and medications, but in the back of her mind, the conversation with Blake loomed. Would he be the support she needed, or would it all feel like too much? When evening finally arrived, Maya set the table, her hands shaking slightly. She wanted everything to be perfect, to show Blake that she was managing, even if inside she felt like a house of cards. The doorbell rang, and she inhaled deeply, pushing her doubts aside. Opening the door, she was greeted by a warm smile and a bouquet of fresh flowers in Blake's hands. "For you," he said, his genuine gaze making her feel seen. "Thank you," she said, taking the flowers, their vibrant colors standing out against the grayness of her week. "Come in. I hope you're hungry." As they sat down, she served the meal, feeling a strange blend of comfort and nerves wash over her. They talked about everything, from work to favorite movies, but every so often, when their eyes met, it felt as if something deeper lingered beneath the surface. Blake finally dove straight into the heart of the matter. "Maya," he said gently, "I can tell something's weighing on you. You don't have to carry it alone." Her throat tightened. This was it, she needed to be honest. "It's my mom, she's really not doing well," Maya began, her voice almost a whisper. "And everything about my job and this opportunity, it's just a lot." Blake listened intently, his expression softening. "That's heavy. It sounds like you're juggling a lot right now." "I'm here for you, whatever you need." Maya was grateful but felt rawer than ever. Her heart ached for her family, and here was Blake, a beacon in her fog. "What if I chase this opportunity and it all falls apart? What if my family needs me more? Maybe this is exactly what your family wants for you, to see you chasing your dreams. They'll want you to be happy, too," he replied, his eyes never leaving hers, the warmth of his words wrapped around her, but still, a doubt lingered. "What if I can't? What if I fail?" Blake leaned forward. "You can't know what will happen unless you leap. You have this strength in you, Maya. I see it." His confidence ignited something within. She was torn, feeling the weight of her family's expectations pressing down on her, yet intrigued by the thought of something more. The night drifted on after that, filled with laughter and the soft clinking of silverware against plates. Yet, with each glance they shared, Maya felt her world shifting subtly beneath her feet, much like a boat anchored yet drifting toward newer shores. As they finished dinner, Blake's phone buzzed, breaking the intimacy. He glanced at the screen, a brief flicker of concern crossing his face. "I'm sorry, I have to take this. Just one moment." Maya nodded, watching as he stepped away, her heart heavy and light at the same time. The flicker of possibilities fluttered again, but this time, she was more aware of the choice ahead of her. While he spoke softly in the other room, her thoughts tangled. Could she really embrace this opportunity? Could she find a balance? When Blake returned, his eyes sparkled with untold stories, but also concern. "Everything okay?" she asked. "Yeah, just a family emergency. Nothing to worry about." He paused, his gaze lingering on her. "But it's a reminder life is unpredictable. Don't let chances pass you by." His words hung in the air, stirring something deep within her. Maya wanted to act, but hesitation clawed at her heart. Was she ready to make such a leap? And then, just as she felt a surge of determination, Blake's phone buzzed again, this time with a message that changed everything. He glanced at it, his expression shifting from casual to serious. "I need to take this," he said, stepping back. Maya's eyes widened as the world around her felt like it was tilting. What unexpected news awaited him? And would it pull them apart? Just as she began to feel a glimmer of hope, as the room filled with a sudden tension, Maya realized. She was on the brink of two diverging paths, one toward her family's needs and the other toward her own potential. But which direction would she take when life threw in more curveballs? Maya's mind raced as she sat back, feeling the weight of the past hour pressing down on her. The air seemed thick, almost crackling with an energy she couldn't quite pin down. The fleeting moments they shared, their laughter, the way he looked at her, it all felt like a fragile thread dangling over a precipice. Would she lose her grip, or could that thread lead somewhere beautiful? Blake returned to the table, his phone still clutched tightly in his hand. She could see it in his eyes, the flicker of worry that had taken root while he'd been on the call. Leaning back into her chair, she broke her gaze from him, trying to focus on the remnants of dinner, but the aroma and warmth felt oddly distant now. "I'm sorry," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. "That was my sister. She's in a bit of a pickle and needs me." The mention of family resonated deeply with Maya. "Is she okay?" "Yeah, she's just stressed about some things," he replied, his brow furrowing slightly. "You know how it is with families. There are times when everybody leans on somebody else." Definitely, Maya said, feeling the tug of her own family's burdens. It struck her how easily they shared this common thread of responsibility and care, yet it only made the rift in her heart widen. I understand. Blake paused, studying her with those soft yet penetrating eyes. What about you? Are you okay? Her breath hitched. She wanted to pour out her worries, but what if it all pushed him away? Instead, she smiled weakly, deflecting the question. Just dealing with my own stuff, I guess. His eyebrows knitted together in concern, but he didn't push. Instead, he changed the topic. So, what else do you have going on besides the job and taking care of your mom? Maya sighed, letting the conversation drift into lighter waters as they shared a few jokes and stories from their work lives. But even while laughing, she felt a storm brewing inside of her, a mixture of hope and fear. With every laugh they shared, she felt the weight of her own choice lurking in the back of her mind. Did she have the courage to pursue her aspirations, knowing that her family needed her? Blake was supportive, but as the minutes passed, she worried his patience would wear thin. After all, no one wants to be with someone who can't figure out their life. Blake's phone buzzed once more, disrupting her thoughts. He checked it and frowned, briefly looking conflicted. Sorry, it's my sister again. I'll be right back. As he stepped away, Maya took a moment to breathe, her heart thumping violently in her chest. She glanced around her kitchen, a warm, inviting place now filled with uncertainty. Her eyes fell on the flowers he brought, vibrant against the mundane clutter of her life. They were a reminder, a spark of what could be if she chose to believe in more than what sat right in front of her. As she sifted through her thoughts, a voice crept into her mind, the nagging doubt that would soon have her questioning everything. What if you're not strong enough? What if you fail? Just then, she spotted Blake in the hallway, his shoulders hunched as he spoke in hushed tones on the phone. She hesitated, wondering if he'd still be there for her if her life unraveled further. Would he be the lighthouse guiding her through, or could she quickly become an anchor weighing him down? The knot in her stomach tightened. The clock on the wall ticked steadily, a reminder that time was slipping away. What if this moment had consequences beyond her understanding? When Blake returned, his expression had changed. He was no longer relaxed and carefree, but tense, almost distant. I'm really sorry, but I need to take care of this tonight. I don't know when I'll be back. His words rang in her ears, and with each second that passed, her heart broke a little more. Just as they had begun to carve out a moment of connection, it felt as if fate was pulling them apart. What if this is the last chance for you to seize your dreams? That question echoed in her mind, mixed with the panic of everything she held dear. Can we figure this out? She blurted out. Desperation bleeding through her cracks. That he paused, his eyes meeting hers, reading the urgency within. Maya, we can definitely figure this out together. But their worlds felt so vast, so full of complicated layers, like a puzzle missing key pieces. Could they really find the shape that fit them both? As skeptical thoughts raced through her mind, Maya realized she was standing on the edge of something monumental, a decision that could change everything. With Blake heading into the night for his family, and her own family's needs growing louder, would she take the chance to leap when he needed her most, or would she retreat into a safe shell of what was familiar? The night had turned into a crossroads, and as Maya stood there, she couldn't help but wonder, which path would she choose when the moment of truth finally arrived? Maya stood at the kitchen table, her heart racing as she watched Blake's silhouette move away. The weight of silence filled the room, tightening around her like a noose. She felt a pull deep in her gut, a nagging question wrapped in anxiety. Was she ready to step into the unknown, or would she settle for a safe but unyielding routine? She grabbed the flowers he'd brought and let the vibrant colors soak into her mind, a brief escape from the tension. Why do I feel like this is a turning point? She whispered to the flowers, seeking some kind of comfort in their unwavering beauty. As she stared at them, memories danced in her mind. The times she had put her dreams on hold, the late nights studying while caring for her mom, the voices of doubt echoing every time she thought about reaching for something more. Now, with Blake, it felt like she was holding a key to a door she'd locked up tight. Would she really be able to turn that key? Minutes dragged by, and she could hear Blake's muffled voice from the hallway, a blend of frustration and urgency. Each word felt like a reminder of how life often demanded so much, leaving little room for personal journeys. She could pull herself together. She could take the leap if only she believed in herself. What would happen if she went after her dreams without the hesitation that had kept her chained down? Could she wield that strength to let Blake in, let him see the real her, the one who was passionate and eager but scared? After what felt like hours, Blake stepped back into the kitchen, a resigned expression on his face. "I should really go," he said softly, as if the words had a weight that pulled them both down. Maya felt the air thicken between them, their shared moments hanging like sparkling lights in the darkness. "Will you be okay?" she asked, the sincerity in her voice lingering longer than intended. "Yeah, I'll be fine," he replied, but the uncertainty was palpable. "I just need to get this sorted." She understood that family often took precedence. The responsibilities they both carried were like invisible chains that held them in place. But as she looked at him, she couldn't shake the feeling that their connection was fragile and precious. "Blake," she said, biting her lip. "Can we?" He looked at her, eyes suddenly wide, the connection sparking back. "What is it?" "The same way your sister needs you, I need," she faltered. "I need to know that you believe in me." His brow furrowed as he processed her words, a flash of something more than concern brewing in his gaze. "Of course I believe in you, Maya. I wouldn't be here otherwise." The heat of his words wrapped around her, and for the first time that night, she felt like she could breathe. Maybe this was the moment. The one that could bridge the gap between the safety of routine and the thrilling uncertainty of following her dreams. As she opened her mouth to speak again, a noise echoed through the kitchen. Blake's phone buzzed against the table, breaking their moment. He hesitated, looking desperately at her, then back to the phone. The tension crackled again, threading them apart. "Just a sec," he murmured, glancing at the screen. "It's my sister." Maya pressed her lips together so tightly it hurt, sensing the inevitable pull of responsibility. He was being called back to reality while she stood teetering at the edge of something new. When would they have another moment like this? She watched as he answered the call, his expression shifting into focus, ready to take on the world, his world. Yet, a part of her felt the weight of his absence before it even happened. How did they get lost between what they needed and what held them back? As understanding waned, she spoke with a voice barely above a whisper. "Blake." He paused just as he moved toward the door, both of them suspended in the air, caught in the whirlwind of choices too big to grasp fully. "Maya, wait," he said into the phone without glancing back, and in that split second, she knew she couldn't hold back any longer. The decision rested heavily on her chest as she closed the distance between them. "What if we put everything on the line tonight? What if we take that step together?" He turned, and their gazes locked, uncertainty heavy in the air. She saw surprise and maybe a hint of hope flicker in those deep eyes. As he opened his mouth to respond, the world outside continued to move, but for them, everything felt suspended. Would this be the moment that changed everything, or would they be left with yet another missed opportunity, swallowed by the weight of their obligations? And just like that, the future hung in the balance between them, as the questions echoed louder than ever. What are they willing to risk for each other? Would they dive into the complexity of their realities together, or retreat into the safety of expectations? Because right then, everything felt like it hinged on this very moment. Maya's heart pounded in her chest, a wild rhythm matching the flutter of her thoughts. Those few seconds stretched like an eternity. The air was thick with unsaid words, a promise hanging in the balance. She was acutely aware that Blake had a decision to make, one that could ripple into both their futures. Blake's grip tightened on his phone, his jaw clenched. "Maya," as he searched for words, she held her breath, a tiny ember of hope igniting inside her. "We could go somewhere. Anywhere. Just, the two of us." His eyes flickered, a mix of yearning and trepidation swirling beneath the surface. But my sister, he trailed off, glancing at the door where his responsibilities awaited. The pause felt heavy, thickening the air between them. That's what makes this moment so important. Maya took a step closer, her voice steady despite the whirlwind inside. What if we don't give in to the pressures? What if we just breathe for a second? He looked at her then, really looked. It was as if he was peeling back layers of doubt, searching for a glimmer of light beneath. You really want this? I do. The words tumbled out like a confession. I want to not just wonder what could be but actually take that leap. Blake's expression danced between conflict and realization, his gaze softening. I'm scared, Maya. What if this doesn't end well? So am I. Her courage surprised even herself. But what if it does? We could redefine everything we thought we knew about ourselves. A tense silence loomed, the weight of his decision pressing down on them. Outside, the shadows from the evening light flickered across the kitchen, yet neither of them seemed to notice. All that mattered was the choice in front of them. Let us do it. Finally, the word broke from him, decisively. Let us leave it all behind, even if it's just for tonight. Her heart soared. Yes. She exclaimed, the thrill surging through her body like electricity. We'll figure everything else out later. Blake's shoulders relaxed, a smile spreading across his face that seemed to cut through the tension like a beam of sunlight. Tonight, then. They quickly grabbed their jackets, excitement and nervousness trembling in their limbs as they stepped out into the crisp evening air. The world felt alive, buzzing with possibilities they hadn't dared to explore before. Maya glanced over at Blake, his expression filled with a blend of determination and newfound freedom. Where should we go? He paused, his brow furrowing as he considered their options. How about that new cafe downtown? I heard they have the best desserts. Maya laughed, the spontaneity igniting warmth in her core. Sounds perfect. Let us just indulge tonight, worry about everything else tomorrow. As they walked hand in hand, the city twinkled around them, alive with nightlights and laughter. Each step felt like shedding old skin, the weight of obligations slowly lifting. The rush of boundary-breaking adventure was intoxicating, but just as the thrill of their escape began to settle in, Blake's phone buzzed again, breaking the moment. He glanced down, his expression darkening. It's my sister again. Maya's heart sank as doubt crept back into her mind. You should answer. He hesitated, torn between the allure of their new adventure and the pull of family responsibility. What if they need me? What if Blake, she interrupted, urgency lacing her voice. You need to decide where you want to be right now. With me or back there. The fire in his eyes flickered, she could see him battling within himself. Would he let the weight of his responsibilities tether him, or embrace this unpredictable journey with her? And as he stood there, phone buzzing in hand, Maya realized this was about more than just a night out. It could be the start of something monumental if only he chose to step off the ledge with her. Do you believe we can make this work? Her voice softened, a plea hidden in the words. With the energy of the city around them, the moment felt electric, charged with the decision before them. Would they dare to challenge fate, or would life pull them back into familiar patterns? What if we let tonight change everything? He asked, uncertainty still lingering in his voice. Maya's pulse quickened. This was at the turning point they both craved. Would he make that leap with her? And in that very moment, everything felt like it hinged on Blake's next words. Blake clenched his phone tighter, his mind racing. Maya's gaze bore into him, a hopeful fire that both soothed and challenged him. He glanced at the buzzing screen, the notifications from his sister blurring into the background. He could sense Maya's pulse matching the anticipation of this moment, and it made him want to fight against the gravity of obligation that pulled at him. Just give me a second, he said, raising the phone to his ear. Her expression shifted as he hit the answer button. He needed to hear what she had to say, but a part of him was already trying to detach from the call. Hey, what's up? Blake tried to sound casual, but urgency laced his voice. Maya. You're with her right now, aren't you? His sister's voice was sharp through the speaker, slicing through both his excitement and growing focus. Can this wait? He shot back, glancing at Maya. She looked anxious, caught between wanting to ease his worries and urging him to embrace their moment. Blake, she pressed. You can't just ditch everything because you want a night out. Mom's asking about you. Tension radiated from him, thrumming through the air. The desire to explain everything to his sister clashed violently with Maya's plea. He turned away slightly, feeling his heart divide between the two worlds. Maya, he began, but he didn't know how to finish that thought. I'm not trying to take you away from your family, she interrupted gently, but firmly. You're an important part of their lives, just as they are a part of yours. But you also deserve to want something more. I want to pretend we can just throw everything away for a night, but what if we let tonight be a point of change? Her words sunk in deep. He took a deep breath, grounding himself. It wasn't just his sister calling, it was also the weight of childhood dreams they both carried. He needed to break free, to explore. I can talk to her later, he finally decided, lowering the phone. That swell of resolve sent a rush of confidence through him. Maya's face lit up, the thrill of that shared adventure sparking in her eyes. But even in her happiness, he could see the flicker of worry still lurking behind her smile. Let us go, she said eagerly, taking his hand and pulling him toward the street. As they walked, the bustling sounds of the city filled the gaps left by his doubts, rejuvenating him. But soon, a chill swept through the air, and a sudden gust intensified the laughter and chatter around them. The cafe, with its warm lights, came into view, each glowing window reflecting the excitement of their venture. Look, there it is, Maya pointed, her excitement infectious. Just think, dessert and no cares. We deserve this. Yet, as they stepped closer, his phone buzzed yet again. This time, frustration bubbled up inside him. I thought we left this behind. Maybe at one stop, Maya suggested. But you can decide how to let it affect you. The truth of her words sank in, it was up to him to make this night mean something. He exhaled deeply, letting go of what didn't serve their moment. You're right. I want this. In that minute, with their fingers intertwined, he lifted Maya's chin gently and leaned in. The kiss was a soft promise wrapped in the thrill of adventure. It felt like the world outside faded, leaving just the two of them in that embrace, suspended in possibility. But the moment slipped away too quickly, interrupted by Blake's phone chiming once more. He let out a groan. I swear I just answered them. His heart thudded like a drum, uncertain but steady. You should really check it, Maya urged. The tension returned, and he could feel his joy waver beneath the pressure of expectations. All right, but then we're getting dessert no matter what. He opened the notification, his mind buzzing with both anxiety and determination. What awaited him on the screen could change everything. Would it pull him back to those familiar pressures, or would it fuel this new beginning with Maya? As he read the message, a familiar yet chilling unease washed over him, and he knew they were about to face a turning point neither of them had anticipated. What awaited them on the other side of that screen? Blake's breath caught in his throat as he stared at the headline flashing on his screen. $1 million. The amount felt surreal, almost out of reach. But more than that, it was about the woman behind the story. He couldn't shake the feeling that the headline was a mirror to his own life, the way Maya had entered without warning, igniting a spark, urging him to finally step into the light. What is it? Maya peered curiously at Blake's face, reading the roller coaster of emotions playing out. It's my dad's news company. They're running a piece on someone who completely turned their life around. His heart raced. This could change everything for them. Maya leaned closer, the warmth of her body grounding him. What do you mean? The details. I know how this goes. Each click, each story, if it goes viral, it can change the trajectory of someone's entire life. They're using attention to tell stories about real transformation. Hope mixed with a sharp edge of dread lodged in his chest, memories flooding back of how those stories often went. "What's the name of the woman?" she asked, her voice softening as she watched him react. Blake's fingers flew across the screen, scrolling for more details. Each second felt like an eternity. "It doesn't he say just that she was a cleaner studying late into the night, making sacrifices for her dreams?" He shook his head. "It's incredible, but it's also, well, it could go all wrong. Or it could go right." Maya's voice was vibrant, full of enthusiasm. "People love a good story. If this woman is willing to fight for her future, then more power to her." Her excitement turned his thoughts. Maybe he could take this leap, too. "And what about you?" He turned the conversation back towards her. "Does a headline like that stir something in you?" Maya's smile faltered momentarily, shadows flitting across her face. "Of course it gets to me. I mean, who wouldn't he want to be recognized for their hard work and dedication? But I also know it's not that simple." "Yeah, I get it. It's terrifying." How could he ask her to chase dreams while he was still stuck in his family's expectations? The weight made his shoulders feel heavy, like a load he couldn't shake off. "Well, you can have both." Maya's eyes sparkled with determination. "If that woman can turn her life around, then so can you. Us. You took a step tonight, remember?" "I did, didn't I?" His heart tingled with the remnants of that kiss, the warmth of shared connection. Yet, in the back of his mind, the buzzing of obligations still lingered. Maya squeezed his hand tighter. "Let us finish what we started. We'll get dessert, then we can think this through together. Two people, new journeys. Let us rethink what it means to chase your dreams." Her optimism was infectious, an anchor against his swirling doubts. "You really think we could just redefine everything? Why not? Don't you want to be more than just someone trapped by expectations?" She searched his eyes, as if seeking his heart's answer. "I do," he whispered. "Then let us make a plan, starting tonight. Maybe there's something we can do to help that woman, to raise awareness. If we can focus on lifting others up, it just might lift us too." Blake's mind raced. "It's ambitious. Yes. And it's exciting." The word hung in the air between them, a promise buzzing with potential, but just then, a deeper feeling stirred within him, a clash from the family obligations he could no longer ignore. "Maya, if I do this, what will it mean for my family? What if helping someone means leaving them behind?" Her smile dimmed slightly, but her grip on his hand remained firm. "You won't have to leave them behind. You can be a bridge. You can help your family while still chasing your happiness." The possibilities were raw and unrefined. Blake's thoughts danced between the urgent pressures and the glimmer of hope Maya offered. The cafe doors swung open with a jingle. Inside, laughter echoed. Outside, the city twinkled, a canvas of dreams waiting to be painted. Could he really redefine his future with Maya? Just as those thoughts settled, his phone buzzed again, this time a call. He glanced at the screen, it was his mother. Should I answer? Anxiety clawed at him, the tether to his family pulling tighter. Her eyes searched his, the stakes suddenly higher. "Remember what tonight means, Blake." He hesitated, the choice before him like a fork in the road. Would he choose comfort or courage? With a steadying breath, he answered the call, knowing the path ahead could change everything. What would his mother's voice bring, resistance or understanding? "Mom?" Blake spoke, his chest tightening as he braced for the whirlwind of expectations and love that was about to wash over him. "Blake. Thank goodness. I was starting to worry. You're out with that girl, aren't you?" His mother sounded relieved but ever probing. You don't need to forget about the family when there are so many things happening. He glanced at Maya, who watched him with an expression of supportive curiosity. I'm not forgetting, Mom. I'm just taking a moment for myself. To breathe. There's so much going on with your father's health, and you know your sister needs you. You can't just abandon them. Her words struck a chord deep in his heart. Responsibility loomed heavy, yet so did the excitement of possibility with Maya. I get it, Mom. But you also raised me to believe in following my passions and dreams, he said, finding his voice. I'm trying to balance everything. Passions are one thing, Blake, but family? They're everything. Don't let this girl distract you. Maya's expression turned serious, her eyes understanding but fierce. Blake felt the weight of a decision, the crossroads of loyalty and desire pushing against his chest. Mom, it's not about distraction. This is also about my life, my choices. I want to find a way to stay close to you and help, while also making something for myself. Silence stretched across the line, and Blake could almost feel the gears turning in his mother's mind. Maya sounds like a good person. Just promise me you won't lose yourself in whatever this is, she finally said, her voice softening. You have to be ready to stand on your own 2 feet. I promise, he said, absorbing her worries. Tonight, we're trying to figure things out together. He ended the call, looking at Maya with a renewed sense of determination. I love my family. But I need this too, we both do. Her smile blossomed, a radiant light against the late-night darkness. Then let us create something meaningful. Not just for us, but for those like that woman in the article. The optimism in her voice twinkled in the air. We all deserve to make our voices heard. Blake nodded, heart swelling. You're right. Let us head inside, enjoy some dessert, and brainstorm how we can help. As they stepped into the cafe, a wave of warmth enveloped them. An array of desserts glistened under soft lights. Laughter echoed around, a harmonious backdrop to their budding adventure. They grabbed a cozy booth by the window, the glow of the city sparking with potential outside. Maya settled her gaze on him, her excitement palpable. What can we do? Maybe a social media campaign? Gather stories from people like us who have faced challenges. Her eyes shone with fervor, reminding him of the fire that had kindled within. That makes sense. Sharing our stories can create awareness, maybe even inspire others, he agreed, feeling a bolt of energy surge through him. We can start with your story, from cleaner to dreamer. It can resonate with so many people. A server approached, breaking their flow of thoughts, placing a delicious cheesecake in front of them. As Maya took her first bite, her eyes lit up, and Blake couldn't help but smile, seeing her dive into the sweetness of life, each morsel a celebration of liberation. This is amazing! She exclaimed. They began crafting a plan, laughter intertwining with their serious discussions. They debated hashtags, formats, and how the campaign could loop in local businesses to create a broader impact. Each idea felt like a stepping stone on a shared path, creating an avenue for change, yet, in the back of his mind, the gravity of responsibilities lurked. What about my family? What if they need me? Your family will always need you. But finding the balance is what creates room for everyone to grow. You're not abandoning them, you're giving your heart a voice. Remember what your mom said, stand on your own. Her words flickered sparks of resolve. Maybe it wasn't just about a choice, it was about opening a dialogue, building bridges, and allowing both worlds to coexist. As they wrapped up the night, the cafe dimmed, signaling the closing time. They stepped back out into the night, hand in hand, stepping boldly into the possibilities ahead. Blake? She asked softly, pausing near their parked car. Yeah. I think we're on the right path. I feel it in my bones. He looked into her eyes, seeing hope reflected back at him. Me too. But you know this journey won't be easy, right? It never is, but that's the beauty of it. The smile on Maya's face was radiant. Together, we can face anything. In that moment, everything felt possible. They had both taken a leap toward their dreams, towards a path where aspirations and obligations could meet. "Let us do this," he replied, his heart full. The uncertainty still danced around the edges, but they were ready to face it together. As they drove off, the city lights flickering in the rearview mirror, Blake felt a swell of gratitude. This transformation wasn't just about recognition, it was about forging a new narrative, one of courage, compassion, and an unwavering belief in each other. "Maya," he turned to her, courage blossoming anew. "Thank you for believing in us." She squeezed his hand, their connection radiant. "Thank you for seeing me." With that, they drove into the night, two dreamers embarking on a journey to redefine not just their futures, but all the futures that lay ahead. The road stretched out before them, full of twists and turns, bright with the promise of life lived fully, not just surviving, but thriving in the pursuit of dreams. And as the moon cast a gentle glow, they held on to the crucial truth: together, they could embrace the complexities, the joy, and the challenges that made life beautifully unpredictable. So, now is the time for you. Don't wait not even one more second. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss out on the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to fuel the algorithm and let your support shine. Comment your reactions and feelings about this inspiring ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to hear this incredible transformation. You need to show your support.